Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Garance French and this is Garance French Evolution. So, as you saw in the title, today we are talking about Joker Folie à deux. I'm French, so I can pronounce it correctly. I bet that's the first time you heard that correctly.
This one's gonna be called Joker Folie à deux.
What?
Folie à deux.
What?
It's French, which automatically makes the movie more artistic sounding.
So yeah, not too long ago, I went to the theater to see Joker Folie à deux. And now I have a few thoughts that I would like to share with you. This is another video format where we have a canvas presentation and I'm talking to you about it like it's middle school. I try to be kind of weird like all queens, so I have this jacket that I love wearing. I do my makeup in a video on my other channel if you want to watch. So this video and this canvas presentation is called Where Joker Folie à deux went wrong in my humble opinion by Garance French Revolution. Now, first of all, it's weird because I can't say like Joker, I say it with an English accent, and Folie à deux, I say it with a French accent. But I can't say both of them like I either say Joker Folie à deux or I say Joker Folie à deux. Like I struggle saying Joker Folie à deux. Like I have to pause. It's really funny. So first off, what are we talking about? So this movie is called Joker Folie à deux. See, I did it again. I said it in English. Joker Folie à deux. It was released in 2024. It was written by Todd Phillips and Scott Silver. It was directed by Todd Phillips, and it is starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. And as a bonus, I put the previous movie Joker, who was released in 2019, and the companion album All the Queen by Lady Gaga. Now, I actually listened to the album right before I went to see the movie because I was at work. I was at work during the afternoon, and I listened to the album, and then I went to see the movie at night. It was like 6 p.m., but it was dark by then. And so I'm really glad that I listened to it like before because it really put me in the mood and I understood already about the movie a little bit, and a lot of the songs are covers of songs that were already used in the first movie, so I thought that was interesting. Can't mention Joker 2 without mentioning Joker the first, the movie in 2019 that got Joaquin Phoenix his Oscar for Best Actor. So yeah, that's what we are talking about, that's who we're working with. Mind you, I said this story already in my blog because I made a little vlog in Italian on my other channel when I went to see it, and I said this story already, but I'm gonna say it here again. I went to see this movie and it was supposed to start at 6 p.m. So I got there at 6 p.m. And then so I was sitting in the room, and then there was like a picture of Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga like as the characters and nothing. And then they started singing because it was actually a bit of a song. And then it went back to being black, and then there was nothing for a few minutes, and then there were the ads that usually played before the movie. And I was like, okay, this is weird. So anyway, now let's talk a little bit synopsis. Now I'm going to read you a synopsis that I got from Wikipedia because I cannot be bothered to write my own. In 1993, 2 years after his crimes as a Joker, Arthur Fleck is now interned at Arkham Psychiatric Hospital in Gotham City, torn between his two identities, awaiting trial. Lee Quinzel, also present in the facility, is fascinated by him. The two then come closer in their shared madness through music, while Joker's many supporters show their support for his release. It sounds a bit weird because it was in French and I translated it into English, so in this synopsis, they translated Folie à deux by their shared madness. So if you're wondering what it means like, yeah, Folie à deux. Folie is madness and à deux means like the two of us. So yeah, it's like shared madness, the two of us being mad together, Mind you, in this movie, I'm gonna say some negative things. That does not mean that I hated the movie. That does not mean that the movie is bad and terrible and everyone affiliated with that movie should be ashamed. Absolutely not. This is just my opinion. This is my taste. So I know a thing or two about movies and about screenwriting and stuff like this. So I do have some expertise on the matter, but this is just my opinion. I'm going to talk about, where I think this movie went wrong and what I would have done differently as a screenwriter. And that's it. No hate, just my opinion. Part 1, drama or musical. Something that was very controversial, this movie, is that it was a musical. The first movie was not. Yeah, when it was announced that it was a musical, people were kind of like skeptical. But then it was announced that there was Lady Gaga in it, so like, okay, she's good in movies, she can sing, right? So maybe it's not that bad actually. And then the movie premiered in Venice, I think, at the Venice Film Festival, and the reviews were mixed. So people were like, oh no, it's gonna be a flop. People for some reason like musicals. I personally love musicals. I understand that this is not for everyone. Like I personally like musicals, but some people don't. Just like there are some genres like I hate horror movies. I cannot watch horror movies. But some people love those. So to each their own. Now, where I think that movie went wrong is in the screenplay. And as a screenwriter, I can tell you, if the screenplay is bad, the movie is bad. You can make a bad movie out of a good screenplay, but you cannot make a good movie out of a bad screenplay. I struggle to say that one. And I think the screenplay in this case is kind of flawed, in my opinion. in a way that the writers don't seem to be able to choose between drama and musical. By the way, Joaquin Phoenix, or the main actor, the Joker, had this idea for like a second movie where it's a musical about the Joker, and that's kind of wild. Like, okay, why not? But Todd Phillips and Scott Silver, I think, were not able to decide if it was a drama or musical, and that's what, in my opinion, made it bad. Like, mind you, this movie is not even bad. Like, I still liked it. I liked it a lot more than a lot of people have. I give it like a 6 out of 10, I think. So it's not like that bad. It's average, but it's not like super bad either. When you write a movie, they are obviously different genres, and there are certain things that you have to understand about the genres. The first movie was a drama movie, and that was excellent. The screenplay was incredible, the acting was incredible. The acting in this film is incredible too. Like, obviously, get an Oscar for the first one, but like this movie is also great, like acting wise. Like Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix and everyone, like they were great. So I have nothing to say about the acting. It's just really about the screenplay. I'm gonna turn on the light because the sun is like 4 p.m., so the sun is setting, obviously. So I'm gonna turn on the light. When I was watching this movie, I kept thinking, is this a drama or is this a musical? Because you're not gonna write a drama and a musical the same way. What you have to understand about screenwriting is that there are beats, there are moments that you have to like that make up the story. You know, like there are beats that you have to respect. You're not going to write them the same in a musical or in a drama.
Now it's time for a little song. Oh, again? Yes. So do these songs advance the story, or are they just kind of pauses to do some music? Yes. Okay, gotcha. Wait, you didn't answer. So now it's time for a song. Again. Constantly.
When you're writing a musical, those beats, those important moments, are the ones who are supposed to be a song, a performance, a music, a dance. And when you're writing a drama, these important big moments, they are usually, if I have to take an example, it might be like a monologue. A very, you can think that Oscar-winning monologues and stuff, when they're crying and look at the camera and stuff, those like important moments and those very intense moments, and they are usually, I'm gonna say, a monologue. That's just one example. You can have many things, like let's just say monologue and a song for musical. And in this movie, the important moments, they were not musicals, not all of them. Some of those important moments, they were monologues, some of them were more musicals. And it's like, you have to choose. Like, you can't just do both because it's confusing.
And I'm gonna say something which I've touched upon in many of my other videos, but hear me out. Guess how many people on the creative team of Joker 2 had a musical theater background? Did you say none? Well, then you were correct. The lack of understanding of the intricacies of the medium is so blatantly obvious, it's embarrassing. When will Hollywood stop underestimating musicals? Thinking anyone can write a musical by adding songs to their boring script is like saying anyone with working legs can be an Olympian runner. It takes years of practice.
We had some very important moments, just like a dialogue between two people, a very intense and like very well acted dialogue. But those moments should have been musicals, because then we had moments that did not matter that much and that were musicals, like that were songs. Some of it was respected, mind you. Like some moments I was like, yes, they made a song out of this moment, and that's great because that's good. That's what a musical is supposed to be. But some moments where they did not, and they just like had this very heavy dialogue, heavy monologue and stuff. And like, you should have put this into a song. This would have been so much better if that moment was into a song. But like, so yeah, that's my problem. I think they just put the wrong moments into songs sometimes. This is good, but this is not a musical. Like, you put the music in the wrong places, and then we had so many songs about things that don't matter that much. In my opinion, they just were not able to choose between drama and musical, and that's what ultimately made it not as good as it could have been. Because I loved like the premise of that, like a Joker movie that's a musical with Harley Quinn. Like, I love that. At first, when the movie began, I was like, oh, this is actually not that bad. I don't know why people are like saying it's very bad. And then, like 20 minutes later, I was like, yeah, okay, that's not really working. And it's not that it's bad, it's just that it's not working. They don't put the songs in the right places. Part 2, the Chicago comparisons.
To be fair to Phillips though, on paper the concept of the sequel sounds great. A failing performer kills someone in a frenzy and copes with their tumultuous time in prison and in court by retreating to this musical fantasy world. I would say that sounds like Oscar-winning material. Because it is. In 2003, the movie adaptation of Broadway musical Chicago was nominated for 13 Oscars and won 6 of them, proving that the homicidal performer protagonist has legs to stand on. As long as it's executed well, of course.
Now, I have been watching a lot of essays about this movie on YouTube, and a lot of them were comparing the Joker to Chicago. Chicago is a musical that I love. I love this movie more than I love myself. That's not a lot, but like the bar is low, but like still. And this movie, I think, was released when I was born in 2002, so like slay, And I love this movie. I love all the songs in them. Catherine Zeta-Jones, she won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, I believe. It was absolutely amazing. And this musical is a landmark. Like, it's everyone knows it, and like I just love it. Chicago and the Joker too. It's both about a murder and about courtroom. Basically, yeah, I think Joker was trying to be like Chicago, but kind of failed because Chicago really did it well. Like, Chicago is a good example of a courtroom musical that puts the song in the right places. Like, the most important moments are the songs, and in between, of course, it's still important because it wouldn't be there if it wasn't. But the most important moments are the songs. I think it's a very valid thing to compare these two movies because it's a lot about murders, about the courtroom, about trying to sway the audience and having people support you, and it's very similar in a lot of ways. I just think Chicago did it. Like, Chicago succeeded what Joker couldn't. It's very valid in my opinion, all the comparisons. Like, one example that came to my mind almost immediately was when I was thinking about Joker 2 before seeing it, I was like, oh my god, I was picturing kind of like Chicago. And there's that one scene where they are performing the cell block tango. Yeah, basically, it's when Roxy is in jail and she hears like the music slowly starts to build with like the sounds of what's around her. They go into like this other world when they're singing. They're not in the real world because in the real world she's in jail, but then she like her door magically opens and she goes into that world where the other girls are telling them why they are locked in jail with her. It's so impressive and it's just so well done because it takes you like from the real, it transitions from the real into the musical, and we didn't really have that here.
The ideas were there, but frankly, the execution was garbage. Or if this is exactly how the writers had envisioned it, then they lack the balls to pull the plug in editing. They needed to admit to themselves that they made a mistake and therefore the footage they had just didn't work. Like, they really just needed to rethink their concept within the flow of the film. By the way, this isn't me saying that I didn't like any of the musical numbers. I really liked the ones where they expanded the fantasy world, you know, the gonna build a mountain and whatever that other one was. Those are the type of visuals that I would want to see in a movie musical that was based on a cartoon. Colorful, imaginative, theatrical. But for some reason, the writers decided to alternate between this fantasy world and these like dramatic, serious songs.
Of course, like in this movie, the Joker sings out loud because he's crazy. The Joker sings out loud because he is going through things in his head, he's mentally ill, and he's singing out loud and with music that only he can hear. He and Harley Quinn, obviously. And I think that's what they wanted to show about the Joker. But some of those music should have been more like with transitions from the real into the musical. Because like there were also those moments, like the moment where they get married. What song is it? We're Gonna Build a Mountain, is it? When they get married, like you can see Lady Gaga running to him and they like get married. That's not happening in real life. That's like the musical part of it. It's like it's in their head. It's like the representation of what they're doing. And there were some of those moments, but it wasn't, the transitions were not good enough, like in Chicago. Part 3, the Harley Quinn problem. Something else that bothered people a lot was Harley Quinn in this movie. This movie was more about Harley than it was about the Joker, but in my opinion, it was not enough about Harley. And I saw this video, I'm gonna link them all to you. And I think Harley is a very interesting character, and I think it's just misused. Again, the screenplay is not that good in that sense. It doesn't use Harley Quinn well enough. And this was this video that I was watching that I'm gonna link and I'm gonna show you. But basically they said it should have been more about Harley because she's the more interesting one here. Like, we've already seen the Joker, and in this movie the Joker is like, he doesn't really do much and it's just things happen to him. He doesn't really do anything, he doesn't create anything, things just happen to him.
Whereas last time he was an active protagonist with goals and aspirations to move toward, like being a comedian, now he's become a passive shell. He doesn't do things to make stuff happen. Everything happens and is done to him or for him.
I got you in. You do that for
He already has a dedicated lawyer who wants to help him without ever having to get that help. He gets befriended by a cute fangirl without ever having to make that meeting happen. A fangirl that, by the way, is always the one doing stuff while Arthur just sits and waits. In other words, the lead character of the movie is no longer leading the movie.
The plot would have been so much more interesting if it was more focused on Harley. Basically, she's obsessed with him. She's like his biggest fan and she wants to be with him. And then also, like, she gets pregnant. At the end, when Arthur realizes that he actually doesn't want to be the Joker anymore, he just wants to be Arthur. And she's like, she's leaving him because she wants to be with the Joker, not Arthur. This ending was kind of anticlimactic in my opinion, and it just didn't work really well. Plus, at the end, gets killed by a rando, and it's like, in my opinion, like I just thought about it for 2 seconds. I was like, what if when he told her that like he didn't want to be Joker anymore, he wanted to be Arthur, she killed him, and then she ran away, and then she raised that baby as the next Joker? Because it is implied at the end, like the guy who stabbed him, he's like the next Joker. We can see him in the background, like slashing his lips like the Joker. And basically, this movie is about how, like, it's about legacy and how Arthur dies, but the Joker lives through, because the Joker is more, it's not a person, it's a concept. And that's a great thing. That is a great concept of a story. But it could have been used much better, because, like, there's this rando, this guy that we saw, like, twice, and he just stabs him for no particular reason, and then Joker dies, and Arthur dies, and then he's a Joker. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, we don't know him. Like, if Harley had been the one to kill him, run away with the baby and raise that baby as the next Joker, that would have been so much more interesting. And so that video was talking about this, and I was like, that's right. Like, I thought about it too, and it would have been so much more interesting, because we would have the same theme of legacy, the Joker as a concept, not a person. But instead, we have this, like, random person killing Arthur in the end. Now, in this movie, nothing really happens. Things happen to Arthur, and then he gets killed. And, like, it's so frustrating, because there is so much potential, in my opinion, and it's just not used. It's not used correctly. Plus, the mishandling of, like, the musical part, and I was like, it could have been so great, but it's okay. It's mid. Like, it's not bad either, because, like, I can see what they were going for. As I said, the acting is great, the directing is great, the cinematography is incredible, but the screenplay is not that good. And so, like, that 6 out of 10 that I gave it was mostly for the acting and the directing and the cinematography. But the screenplay is not that good. So it can only take you so far, you know? As I said, you can build a good movie out of a bad screenplay. For my personal thoughts, this movie is not as bad as what people say it is. Like, I was expecting much, much worse. Just from thinking like 2 minutes about it, I can make up a whole different screenplay that would have been so much better. And lots of people have. I don't know, it just feels kind of weird and just like lost potential. It was just not used like it could have been. And it's very frustrating, because, as I said, the acting is great, the cinematography is incredible. And the idea of the Joker escaping his reality by singing, because he can't, he's in jail, so he can't really do much else. That's a great concept, a great story. It could have been better. Yeah, maybe the director thought that, they loved the first one, they're gonna love the second one. I don't know what happened, but like, it's just not giving. It's not giving what it should have gave. Like, I was mostly disappointed by the screenplay, and I'm still glad I went to see it in theater, because I love going to the movies, and it's always such a great experience. It's very frustrating, because there is so much potential, and you have such great actors, and great cinematography, and great everything, but you cannot write to save your life, and like, it's very frustrating. That's my opinion. Again, just my opinion as a professional screenwriter, but just my opinion. It was not as bad as people say it was, but like, it was not good either. Like, I don't know what to think about. Like, it's very confusing. I wanted to go see it for myself, because I heard so many mixed opinions, but like, I was like, I'm gonna go see it for myself, make my own opinion. And that's why at first, yeah, I was like, it's actually not that bad. And then I was like, it's actually, it's not that it's bad, but it's mid. And yeah, so I was expecting much better, and I'm disappointed and kind of frustrated. But so yeah, I think that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Please tell me in the comments your own opinion, what you thought about the movie, what you thought they could have done better, differently. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. You can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I have other channels if you want to check them out. Everything is in the description. And yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye!